they're watching Star Wars for the first time, 'cause they ain't never seen it.
War! The Republic is crumbling under attacks by the ruthless Sith Lord Count Dooku. There are heroes on both sides. Evil is everywhere. In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader General Grievous has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, leader of the Galactic Senate. As the separatist droid army attempts to flee the besieged capital with their valuable hostage, 2 Jedi Knights lead a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor. That's right. Welcome to Haven't Seen Star Wars, the podcast where 2 lifelong Star Wars fans guide 2 franchise rookies as they take their first steps into a larger world, sharing their honest opinions and reactions to the goings-on in a galaxy far, far away. We just watched Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and we are ready to talk about it. My name is Mike Gibson. I am here with Amber Verity, Steve Haller, and Alex Larose. Man, what a movie this is. What a movie. What a movie. The first PG-13 Star Wars movie. All the others got away with a PG rating. This one definitely deserves a PG-13, I believe. So, here we are. Who wants to start? Amber, maybe? What do we think?
This might be my favorite Star Wars movie so far.
Whoa!
I know.
Whoa!
Okay.
Favorite.
I loved it.
All right.
I loved it a lot.
Favorite out of all of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Not what I expected. Not a surprise. I mean, a surprise, but like it is a lot of people's favorite Star Wars movie. So like not a surprise in that sense, but content-wise, I didn't know if you were gonna be down with this one. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You could say it was a surprise, but a welcome one.
Sure. You could definitely say that. Yes.
There are many people in the fandom that do consider this their favorite movie.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's not out of the realm of possibility by any stretch.
Yeah. All right. Alex, what did you think?
I liked it. It's a little intense, but I liked the intensity.
Yeah.
I think what I didn't like about it was it seemed like there were a ton of like lightsaber scenes and like fighting, and I was like, all right, like I think I really like dialogue, and that is what that's what I liked about the last one so much. So this one was like that. Those parts were kind of like more of a drag for me, but like the last half hour, crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So Alex, you may not want to listen in a couple weeks to Mike and I's May the 4th episode for our other podcasts, because we're doing best lightsaber fights in Star Wars.
Yeah. You will check out immediately.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Going into this with fresh eyes, or our attempt to, what did you think of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith?
I think it solidified itself as my favorite of the prequels.
Okay.
I don't know if it shuffled around in my rankings much, because I think I should pull up my letterbox while we're doing this just to remember where I put it last time.
Yeah, your list. Yeah.
You know, I think it was above what I thought it should be, and I think it was appropriately ranked in my prior. I think this one I've always had a pretty good gauge on what I thought of it.
Yeah.
And it didn't change much. Still a good movie. Like, I have zero qualms with it.
All right.
How about you, Mike?
This might be a hot take. I don't know if I like this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it. I know, right? Because there are parts of it
for you to say that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
There are parts of it I like quite a bit. And I mean, so much so that the end of this movie makes me cry. Like, I am emotional at the end of this movie. But I think a lot of that comes from when it is setting up the threads that will become the original trilogy that is in my heart forever, that I love so much. Like, you know, I'm just such a big fan of Luke and Leia that like seeing them be born is like, oh my God, like that's like, that works on me. And like, I think Ewan McGregor is really good in this movie. I think like his emoting at the end when he's fighting with Anakin is great. And like, that gets me too. But like,
Yeah.
maybe kind of tapping into what you were saying a little bit, Alex. I think sometimes there are big character developments in this movie, but a lot of them kind of feel brushed over in favor of action scenes where I feel like they could spend a little bit more time with those characters in those like revelatory spots in the movie. I don't know.
Yes. No, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it.
What do you rank this in this trilogy?
It's still a question. It's kind of like I'm still thinking about it right now. Like I don't know because the prequels in general, now that we're through this, I guess I can say this. The prequels have never been my favorite of the Star Wars movies. And it has a lot to do with
point of order.
Yes.
That is a drastic understatement.
I'm just trying to be polite. I don't want people to yell at me.
The only times we've ever gotten in trouble on the other podcast with the interwebs in general has been Mike's take on the prequels.
Yeah. But a lot of the things that I've said about the prequels in the past have softened, honestly, while doing this podcast. Like I said, like Attack the Clones, I loved more than I've ever loved it the last time we did the recording. So I'm still kind of like going through it because we just all happened to watch it last night. So like it's like fresh for me kind of. So I'm still kind of processing because like I said, there's a lot to like in this movie for me. And there's so many people that love it from beginning to end, without question or concern. So
like Amber,
I don't know.
Apparently.
Like Amber. Exactly. Exactly. Amber, let's go a little bit more. What was your like takeaways? What did you love about it? Like, what are some things that like hit for you?
So I loved how fast paced it was. And I think that what you and Alex didn't love about it is actually what I did love about it. Like, I feel like we're in the midst of war and this crumbling government system that's about to transition. And I think it seemed very real to me that there would be this much action and not enough time to talk out all of the feelings, relational things, and all of that, because if this were really happening, like in the midst of war, you wouldn't be able to have that. So, and I've also just been waiting so long for the like villain origin story to just come full circle, for everything to make sense for me, and I was satisfied with it for sure.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And R2 like makes a little like noise, and I think that's cute.
What's that about?
In this one, I'm like, wait, he talks? Like it's not just beep boop
Yeah.
boop,
Okay. All right. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I think I noticed that for the first time ever watching it this time. That it's not a beep and it's not a boop. It's like a human voice, kind of.
Yeah, I was like, what a little cutie. He's like, there's a person in there,
Right. Have you ever? Did you notice that this time, Steve? Or have you noticed that before?
No.
It's towards the beginning when Anakin is trying to land Grievous's ship, right? That's what we're talking about. When Anakin's trying to land the crashing
falling
ship.
out of the ship, and he's like,
it's a close up. The camera cuts to R2, and it's not a beep, and it's not like a R2 noise. It's like it sounds like a human voice going woo woo, like just exactly what I just did. Like not me impersonating a robot, like exactly what just came out of my mouth. It's very weird.
Yeah, no, now I'm going to have to watch for that and probably never unsee that again.
Yeah. I should have gone back. I was just like, yeah, it was jarring. I was like, did he make a
I'm hyper aware of everything R2 does, obviously, because I love him, but
that's the thing, like R2, he gets a couple cool moments in the beginning, but then our droids aren't really in this movie too much. 3PO is barely in this movie. R2 is in the beginning, has a couple great moments, but then they get kind of sidelined. I guess part of it is also like that this after the first like 25 minutes of this movie, there's very little humor. There's very little levity, and because it is a tragedy. Like this movie is a tragic tale. It's a tragedy, whether you love it or hate it. Like that's the point of the movie, and you kind of know that going in. If you've seen the original trilogy, you know what's going to happen in this movie at some point. You don't know how, but you know what's going to happen. And so like I'm not sure how they would have added more humor to it or made it like lighter, because it doesn't really deserve to be lighter, but that just might be like my taste. Like maybe I want a Star Wars movie that is a little bit lighter. Maybe that's why that it's not hitting for me as hard as it hits for a lot of other people. Or I don't know. I also got interrupted while watching it like multiple times last night, so I never really got to like lock in too much until like the last hour, which is I prefer the last half of this movie to the beginning, no matter
For sure.
no matter what my opinion is, for sure. Like it really kind of kicks in. Yeah, what did you guys think of? I mean, we'll get to like characters as we go through, but one of the things that I really bump into with this movie that I always have is the characterization of Padme Amidala. I feel like they kind of sideline her and she just becomes somebody who brushes her hair and talks about how much she loves Anakin, and then pregnant and then dies at the end, instead of being like some cool badass that she's been in the last couple. Like, did that bump? Am I alone on that? Or is that like something that you guys bumped into at all? Or
Yeah, I wish we had like more of the Padme from the last movie, for sure. It was just it was.
I think it made sense this way though.
Yeah.
Like this made the most sense to me because they have to have their relationship in secret. This is also something she signed up for too, as much as Anakin did. So it would make sense that she was sidelined a little bit, but also she is pregnant. So from a female who has been pregnant before and had a baby, it's like what you do in those months is so like much more reserved than what you do when you're not pregnant, because you're not looking out, you're looking out for more than just yourself. And on top of that, they're in the midst of war, they're in the midst of trying to do this whole relationship in secret and what that means for both of them, and they have all this uncertainty that it would just seem not real if she was out here fighting and being this crazy badass that she was in the previous movie.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely puts something into perspective a little for me, because in my brain it was always like a character assassination, because the last time we see her, she's being an absolute badass in the arena and shooting battle droids and stuff, and then just immediately flips to Meek doing whatever she's doing. That actually puts that in a lot different context for me.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
And like I try not to, it's really hard not to do this, and a lot of Star Wars fans will fall victim to this, and it's I try hard not to be like, well, I wish they would have done this, and why didn't they do this, and they could have done it this way. It's like, well, they already didn't do that, so who am I arguing for? Like, whatever. But like it's fun to like play those games, but like you have to be watching the movie that they made and not the movie that you wish they made or that you wanted to be made. And we've talked about that a few times, I think, in this podcast so far. So and you're right, Amber, it's like regardless of how badass she may have been, pregnancy can change you. All of a sudden you're living for
even temporarily. Like who knows if she lived, like after having the babies, what, like, like how I treated my body, my like activities that I did when pregnant are just totally different before and after pregnancy, so it's motherly instinct. You have this nature inside of you that you want to protect something that you're growing in your body, so it makes sense.
It does make sense. Alex, did you have something else to say? Not trying to get you to combat Amber's point, but did you have something else to say?
No, that's a cool perspective. I guess I didn't think of that. I mean, I just like the way that like she and Anakin like talk to each other. She's like, I love you. And he's like, no, I love you. And she's like, I promise. He's like, no, I promise. And I'm like, okay, like, whoa. Are we our own people? I don't know. Yeah. I just like, I kept thinking like, oh, I like this love story is not doing it for me the way that the Han Leia love story was like, I loved that. So,
Yeah.
well, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing her on my screen. She's great, Natalie Portman in this.
Yeah. She's pretty good in it. And I guess my one big qualm is that I wish she didn't die at the end. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it would have been cool if she was the one that took Leia to Alderaan or whatever, you know.
Right.
And like they were both hiding away or something like that. And then we maybe get more Natalie Portman in a TV
Yeah.
show or something or whatever. Like that'd be cool, you know.
Right.
But how ironic that like the whole reason he started Anakin wanted to switch over to the dark side was to keep her alive, and then she just ends up dying anyways because of what do they say? Something about she doesn't have the will to live anymore.
Yeah. That's a little weak. I think.
Yeah.
How did
But,
you
like-
die? You died from a broken heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But twins aren't the will
As
to
well.
live. That didn't make sense to
Right.
me either. I'm like, if there's anything I
Yeah.
can live for, it's not going to be a man. It's going to be my kids that I just gave birth to. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or I'm
Yeah. I
about
think,
to give birth to or whatever.
yeah, that's a great point. Like, if they're gonna have her die, give her a reason that she is like she can't recover from the choke that Anakin gave her or whatever. You know, like make it actually his fault. You know. So then Palpatine's not even lying to him at the end of the movie when he says you killed her in your rage or whatever. Yeah, like give her like a reason, because otherwise, you're right, Amber. It's framed as like my dying thoughts are wishing I was with Anakin and not, you know, caring very little for the two humans that I just birthed. Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Action packed movie, lots of stuff, lots of, I think Hayden Christensen is better in this movie than he is in Attack of the Clones. For sure.
Significantly.
Yeah.
Even right off the bat, that first scene, like him and McGregor going back and forth, feels way more natural than anything they did in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I think the two of them have a little more chemistry in this one for sure. And you know, they've both been playing the character longer, especially Ewan McGregor is playing for it's his third movie as Obi-Wan now. And yeah, the whole first part kind of reminded me of like the beginning of Return of the Jedi, where it's like the whole Jabba's palace thing is like its own little movie. Like the whole rescuing the Chancellor and landing the ship is kind of its own thing, and then the rest of the movie starts, you know, after that. It's kind of cool. It's pretty fun.
I don't know if this is just from like coming into this trilogy or just Star Wars in general with fresh eyes, but again, to me, like their dynamic made so much sense to me that they would be closer and it would be more fluid during this movie because they developed like a brotherhood and they spent all this time in training and like they just have had so much more time to developing this relationship as they did even in the movie before this or the one before that, you know? So
Yeah.
that also made sense to me that this movie would be a little bit better in that sense, but
Yeah. And I think they do a good job of differentiating their relationship in this movie because, like in Attack of the Clones, Anakin refers to Obi-Wan a couple times. It's like, you're the closest thing to a father I've ever had. And this movie, it's more like brothers, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're more on an even playing field, even though Obi-Wan's got the seniority
Totally.
over him. I don't know, any other general thoughts?
The way you described it at the beginning, like I am still formulating where this sits.
Yeah.
Like I think like the statements I made at the beginning, there's nothing that screamed I didn't like this. I was
right.
I love all the lightsaber stuff. The whatever they did with the dialogue is still George Lucas. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be cheesy as hell, especially Padme and Anakin's dialogue.
Yeah.
And it brings it to a point, but yeah, like after hearing you guys like you talk through, okay, there's something that's not quite there. I'm like, yeah, you know what? There's a reason in the past I've flopped this in Attack of the Clones a couple times in my rankings.
Yeah. I do think what you said, Amber, about it being like realistic as far as like things happening in wartime, I think that does make a lot of sense to me, that things would be moving fast. it certainly like is more, not to get into like current times or whatever, but it does make more sense. Like stuff we were talking about in Attack of the Clones, where like, the Jedi are presented with all this like alarming information and they just don't do anything about it. That kind of continues in this movie where they're like, the whole thing with the Chancellor. That's the thing we should talk about right up top, because
yes,
Steve and I, for weeks, have been like, are they
dancing? We've been dancing
Okay,
around things.
okay. Yeah. It's been the hardest thing to not say, I think, this entire time. But let's start it off with this. When did you guys realize that Chancellor Palpatine was the Emperor?
Last movie.
Oh, okay.
I knew he was not up to any good last movie, but I didn't realize it until
that he was the Emperor. Yeah. Okay.
Like until this movie. Yeah. Like when they were
Okay.
He initially was talking to Anakin.
So you were suspicious, but this movie solidified it. All right.
Yeah, I was
But
like, I know he's not a good person. And then like
Right.
when the crawl came and he was abducted or whatever by Count Dooku, I was like,
Yeah.
no, that they're like
Oh, wow. Okay.
cahoots or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve and I knew that when we saw Phantom Menace for the first time, because we knew that it was the same actor. It's the same actor that plays Chancellor Palpatine in the prequels that played the Emperor in the original trilogy.
No, in Return of the Jedi.
It's true. In Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Didn't play
because he wasn't in the original Attack of Empire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're like, oh, Ian McDiarmid. Oh, he's playing. Oh,
right.
I guess that guy's going to be the Emperor. So like for us, it wasn't like we knew it the whole time.
Sure.
And in the original like novels they wrote, like the novelizations of the original Star Wars or the original Empire Strikes Back, he's referred to as Emperor Palpatine. So it's like that was his name back then, but nobody knew it.
Yeah. So if you read the books, if you didn't recognize the actor's name, if you had read the books, it also was like obvious. So I think
like
part
the
of the
older
reason
fans also knew that.
Yeah, and part of the reason that older fans had trouble with these prequels is like we know from the beginning that this is the guy that's pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
So we're watching all these other characters not pick up on that at all. And we're just like, are you stupid? Like it's like the whole time we're like, we are smarter than these people. So what is, like if you're watching a movie and you think that if you are smarter than the characters in the movie, sometimes it can be annoying. You can be like, it's so obvious. Why aren't you? Yeah. And it is still kind of like, how did they absolutely not know that? You're supposed to be like powerful space wizards. How did you not realize that it was this guy you talk to every day? But then also I do believe that because of like, stuff we talked about in Attack of the Clones, like the hubris of the Jedi. And, we've been so successful for so long that, no one could possibly sneak up under our noses. They're not even thinking about that like that. So
they got lazy.
They got lazy.
Happened.
They got lazy and they got arrogant. You're right. What did you think? So when it was revealed or when you figured out that he was straight up the Emperor, I don't know, did you like it? How'd you feel about it? Were you like, I mean, no one likes having to look at the Emperor because he's gross looking. What did you think of that being a plot point, I guess?
I was like, knew it. I was like, my intuition had me.
Yeah.
Super power hungry, like made sense to me.
Yeah.
This tracks.
Yep. It's like, see, he's like been playing both sides the whole time, basically.
Right.
Like, he was leading the Republic and leading the Separatist army. And that's the thing too, that like, speaking of the Jedi not doing anything, Count Dooku says that to Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan's like captured. He says, what if I told you that the Senate was already in like being controlled by a Sith Lord? And Obi-Wan just doesn't believe him. Like, yo, he told you everything. Go tell your boss. Yeah.
Come on, man. Like you have the answer.
I know. It's right there. All right. So, also cool. Like, I feel like we're like kind of mixed on this movie. We got like some high highs, some mids. No, I don't think any of us really hated it, but like, we're a little mixed. It might be the first time that we're like this mixed on a movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting. I'm excited to dig in, plot wise, and go through some stuff. But before we do that, I got to say that we have a Patreon that you should go and support if you'd like to support the show. We also have a letterboxed profile where you can read parts of our reviews, snippets of what we talk about in this podcast for each Star Wars movie as we post the episodes. And also, please follow us on social media at Haven't Seen Star Wars, all that great stuff. We're also on YouTube if you're just listening to us. If you're watching us on YouTube, then you can listen to us in your ears as well, wherever you get your podcasts. So check us out. Haven't Seen Star Wars everywhere. And rolling right from that into some Cantina quotes. I have 2 Cantina quotes for us. One is the second half of a quote that I had from somebody else who just specifically talked about 2 movies in their quote. So I saved it. The first one is I got to give a big shout out to friend of the pod, Mike Riccardi, who is a well-traveled raconteur and occasional co-host of the podcast Chaos on the Set. He was a last-minute replacement. I had somebody lined up to send me a Cantina quote, and they kind of flaked on it. And Mike sent me a quote pretty last minute. I was very excited to get this from him. I knew he's a huge fan of the prequels in general. He's a huge fan of this movie. And he had this to say about Revenge of the Sith. He says, in the words of Darth Sidious, unlimited power! There's so many scenes from this film that are some of my favorite in the entire franchise. The tale of Darth Plagueis. You were my brother, Anakin. The opening space battle, etc. Not to mention the numerous epic battles, Obi-Wan versus General Grievous, Darth Sidious versus Yoda, and all of everything on Mustafar, plus Order 66. But ultimately, what I love about it most is its deep political framework and storytelling. It's very dense, but I think it works so well and has only improved with age. The manipulation of trade by Palpatine, the death of democracy and the rise of polarization and tyranny, the demonization of the Jedi, etc. It's also the most quotable for me. So he loves this movie. And swinging that seems to me, yep. Swinging that pendulum in the complete opposite direction is a leftover quote from Jared Paventi, food critic for Syracuse.com, who you may remember hated Return of the Jedi. His continual quote after the Return of the Jedi stuff said, "Do I hate watch the end of episode 3 when it's on just to see what happens to Hayden Christensen? Damn right. Ewan McGregor, as a young Obi-Wan, is a fine-looking man, and I say this as a cis hetero male. Still, it's difficult to take him seriously after watching him crawl out of a toilet in Train Spotting." So, very, fair. Yeah. But
like
ups and downs. Ups and downs. And like we've talked about before, like the prequels were the first like divisive Star Wars movies where some generations of fans didn't connect to them. Younger ones did completely. And there's people like us, me and Steve, that are kind of in the middle somewhere. So thank you to both Mike Riccardi and Jared Paventi for those quotes. Very appreciative. So this movie takes place 3 years after Attack of the Clones. And I think a lot of people thought that at the end of Attack of the Clones, the next movie was going to be about the Clone Wars. Because Clone Wars is mentioned in like the original trilogy and
literally the end of Attack of the Clones begun the Clone War has.
Right, exactly. But no, we skip all that. 3 years after the Clone Wars, we're like towards the end of the Clone Wars. If anyone is interested in knowing what happens in the Clone Wars, again, I think we've mentioned this, but there are 7 seasons of an animated show called The Clone Wars.
Of a really good animated show.
It's got its ups and downs.
It does.
I would say.
But the highs
are incredibly high. Yes,
I will go on the record saying this: the highs of that show are as high as anything in Star Wars, hands down.
Oh,
I would not disagree with you. I would say,
yeah.
Oh, I should say I got a preface before we dive into this plot because I did mention that I do like parts of this movie quite a bit, and I do get emotional at this movie. A year or two ago, this is the only movie that my son has not made it through because it's too scary at the end. he during the Order 66 sequence, we were watching it, and he's like, I can't watch this anymore. He got very scared, and we had to turn it off. But then I asked him, I said, would you like me to tell you what happens? And he said yes. And so in me telling him what happens at the end of this movie, I started just crying. Like, if we had just watched the movie, I probably wouldn't have gotten emotional. But like telling my son what happens and Obi-Wan takes Luke to Tatooine, I was just like bawling. So I guess I'm saying that
That's
now
cute.
in case if we go through this synopsis and I lose it at the end, I'm prefacing it right now so you don't think I'm an insane person.
If one of us has to take over the lead when Mike's incapacitated because we're talking about this,
Honestly, I'm actually pretty surprised that I haven't started crying while talking about Star Wars yet on this podcast, because that's how much I love Star Wars. It's like really insane. Sometimes I can just think about Star Wars and get emotional. It's really crazy. So here we go. We'll see what happens. You say something, Steve?
Huh? No. I was going to say something that did not have any context in this show, and I'll talk to you after about it.
Okay. All right. So it's been 3 years since the end of Attack of the Clones. For the opening crawl, we pan down into a very cool tracking shot that slowly reveals this huge battle that's going on, the Battle of Coruscant. We're kind of following Anakin and Obi-Wan in their ships as they're like en route to rescue the Chancellor. They're just fighting like waves of droids after droids, and I can definitely see like Alex, if you're someone that doesn't connect to like action scenes or whatever, like this is like it's overwhelming, kind of the amount of stuff that's happening. Sometimes there's droids flying at them. There's close-ups of droids scrambling on like ships and stuff. You're like, well, I can't tell what's happening. Like I totally
my brain
get that.
couldn't keep up.
Yeah, yeah.
There were some like cool menacing sound effects in the beginning of the movie. That was like that really set the tone. I was like, oh
yeah,
here we go, lock in.
Locking in. So yeah, I mean, this, like I said, this whole opening is kind of like its own mini movie, this own mini section where, they get to Grievous's ship, they crash, they end up, there's a whole thing in the elevator, doesn't work, it does work, R2's operating it, they find the Chancellor, Obi-Wan gets knocked out, they start fighting Count Dooku for the second time. Obi-Wan gets knocked out, Anakin beats Dooku, cuts both of his hands off brutally, and then is ordered by the Chancellor to kill him, and he does, somewhat reluctantly, but does.
Do it.
And do it. Yeah, he's got a very... That's like
Another...
You can tell, like, Ian McDiarmid starts slowly turning it up all through this entire movie. Till the end, he's just, like, out of his mind. He's just, like, having the time of his life, being evil at the end of this movie. It's wild. He's crushing it. He's hamming it up big time.
For some reason, though, as many times as I've seen that scene, it didn't dawn on me until this time watching it that Palpatine was using, like, legitimately just manipulating Anakin through the Force, not just, like, letting him take his own course. Like, there was an extra little push there. It was like, I believe that. Never mind. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Were you guys surprised that Anakin killed Count Dooku, or was that kind of what you were expecting? I don't know. Or this whole, like, sequence leading up, and, like, he rescues Obi-Wan, they escape, but...
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that, but Dooku looked, like, super shocked when Palpatine was like, do it. He's like, whoa.
Is there...
Maybe they were
like
bros? I don't know.
Well, Dooku was working with him as Darth Sidious. We saw, like, at the end of the Attack of the Clones, they were working together, but the look that he gives Palpatine tells me that he knows that Palpatine is playing both sides. He knows that Palpatine is Darth Sidious. Steve, is that...
Yeah, because he knew
confirmed?
Palpatine when Palpatine was a senator. Like, he was in the Jedi Order when Palpatine was in the Senate.
Of course. Of course.
So he knows Palpatine is Sidious. And he's his apprentice. Like...
Right. Of course.
That's Dooku realizing that the rule of, like, the whole rule of two is continuing now, and that Sidious is like, I need a new apprentice.
Yeah, there can only be two. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can see some, like, real terror in Count Dooku's face when he realizes he's about to die.
Christopher Lee definitely turned that one up too. Of like, I'm going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anakin cuts his head off. And Palpatine like tries to get Anakin to leave Obi-Wan, knocked out Obi-Wan behind, and to his credit, Anakin refuses, carries him, and they get like immediately captured in this like shield, which has maybe my favorite line of the movie, where they're captured in this ray shield in just like a random hallway, and Obi-Wan goes, "How did this happen? We're smarter than this." Anakin goes, "Apparently not." I think that's really funny. R2 comes screaming out of the hallway,
Yeah.
slams into the. It was great.
Don't worry, R2 will come.
Yeah.
Like, comes crashing
Yeah.
out. See?
Yeah. So we meet General Grievous. General Grievous is a new character. He's I think maybe the only new character in this movie. The only new main character. He's like a pretty large, half alien, half droid who wears a cape, talks like Nosferatu, has 4 arms, fights with lightsabers that he stole from dead Jedi, can crawl like a spider, drives a big wheel, and coughs a lot. A lot going on with General Grievous. He wears a lot of hats. What did you guys think of General Grievous as a character?
He just gave me the ick with the coughs.
Yes.
Sorry. You both talk at the same time. Amber said he gave you the ick with the cough. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just because like we had, the COVID era not that long ago, but I was just like, ew, like cover your mouth,
Yeah.
So
Alex,
Mike-
what were you saying? Sorry.
I just wrote Grievous is the ultimate creep. That's what my note says at this part.
He really is.
Ultimate creepo.
Yeah.
Mike, did you ever watch the Tartakovsky Clone Wars?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Do you remember why Grievous has that cough?
I do. Yeah. But that's not canon anymore. So I don't know why he has the cough now.
It's
But yeah.
it's still canon in my head.
Okay. Also, like, why, if you're half robot, why are you coughing? Like, I know you have some organic
I
parts,
was
but like,
wondering that too. I'm like, do you have lungs? Like, I'm so
Exactly.
confused.
I thought we would get more on that. Like, there's got to be like this guy's sick and like something's
No.
gonna
Right.
happen.
We just
and-
kill off all the cool villains immediately,
yeah,
Alex.
yeah. Darth Maul, you look cool? No. Jango Fett, you look cool? No. General Grievous, you're crazy and you have a lot going on? No. Yeah. Yeah, like they show that he has a heart, but they don't see lungs. Like, it's like, can't you just rewire yourself so you don't cough? What's going on there? I don't know.
Right.
It's
Do us
weird.
all a favor.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I did put down, Mike, that the CGI on Grievous actually held up.
For sure. He looks really good. So, so we get the big crash scene. Anakin figures out a way to crash land the ship. Another happy landing, Ewan McGregor says. After the crash, Anakin and Obi-Wan have a brief conversation about Anakin taking the credit and going to meet with the politicians, but he's quickly met by his secret wife, Padme, who tells him that she is pregnant, something that we're pretty sure that was going to happen unless there was some dramatic plot alterations in this movie. But pretty sure that Padme was going to be the mom of Luke and Leia. Padme is like anxious to tell Anakin, and Anakin is like weird about responding. Like, I don't know. I'm always like, every time I watch this movie, I'm worried about what Anakin is going to say back to her. Like, I kind of forget what he says because he pauses a real long time. Like a real long
not
time.
the response I would have been looking for personally.
Yeah.
If I were her. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. And then I am surprised that she like isn't like, are you okay? Like, she doesn't like, push back on him at all for pausing for what seems like too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we learn pretty quickly after this that Anakin is starting to have dreams about Padme dying in childbirth. Which I think he's rightful to be upset about those dreams, considering we know what happened to his mother. Those dreams came true. He kind of like wakes up in a sweat and tells Padme about it, and she kind of denies. She's like, "I'm not going to die in childbirth," and she suggests getting help from Obi-Wan. Anakin says, "No, we don't need help," or something like that. That happens a little bit later in the movie, but I don't know. They kind of do a little bit. It's like they start doing a little bit of sewing some separation between Obi-Wan and Anakin in subtle ways, kind of like through Padme almost. There's a couple scenes where, I think Anakin later in the movie is like, was Obi-Wan here? And she's like, yeah, he came by this morning and that. And he's like, starting to sow like some jealousy between the two of them. Yes. Yeah. And we get, so this whole scene where Palpatine loves Anakin and he's really like kind of love bombing him in every sequence that they have together. Tells Anakin that he wants him to be his representative on the Jedi Council, which is unprecedented in the history of Senate Jedi relations. They allow this, but they don't want him to grant the rank of master, which Anakin is furious about, which I guess I get and I don't get, like they're only letting him on the council because
you're on the council.
Yeah. Right? Obi-Wan kind of says that to him. Like, you're only getting a seat on the council.
You're already the youngest person ever to get a seat on the council. Don't be a bitch about this.
Yeah. But we know the Skywalkers, they like to complain about not getting their way.
They're very impatient.
Although,
they are very impatient.
Tashi Station, Jedi Council, they're a little bit different, Mike.
A little different thing. Yeah, for sure. So while Anakin is feeling betrayed by this, Obi-Wan, while trying to talk him down, also tells him, oh, by the way, while you are, special representative for the Chancellor, will you spy on him for the Jedi Council? Can you do that for us? Which I like because it does, I don't know. The one thing that I did kind of lock into this time watching it that I enjoyed more, where other times I've been critical of, where I kind of feel like the Anakin turning to the dark side kind of happens quickly, or sometimes I think it happens too quickly. But if you take into account stuff that happens in Attack of the Clones, and if you take into account, like, he is being pulled in multiple directions here. He feels like an obligation to his wife, obligation to the council, obligation to the Chancellor. Like, he's being pulled in a lot of directions, and that kind of like is frustrating for him. So I locked into that this time. Is that something you guys clocked or picked up on?
Yeah.
Also,
I think so when I was initial reflection on this, I was like, wow, it kind of happened fast. And then I was thinking, and I was like, well, there was a lot of setup in it last movie.
Yeah.
You can kind of see how he has a little darkness in him, which, like, I guess everyone does, but like they really kind of highlight it and show him his vulnerabilities with it, I think. So
yeah.
it happens fast in this movie, but I feel like the groundwork was kind of laid already.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the massacre in Tatooine, the Tusken Raider thing in Attack of the Clones certainly set up like what he's capable of, and then plus his mom died and stuff. So like you add another emotional component, and he doesn't want to go through the same thing he went through with his mom, with his wife. So, he's on edge for sure. He also, I'm not sure when this happened, but I wanted to touch on it. I can't remember when it happened in the movie, but Anakin's feeling conflicted about being asked all these things, and Padme is talking to him about what's going on, and he's not really being super open with her. He's talking a little bit, not maybe telling her every single thing, and Padme starts suggesting that maybe the Republic isn't going in the right direction, and maybe maybe the Chancellor's not making the right moves, and Anakin's like, you sound like a separatist, and so like kind of starting to sow some division there as well. I think so. That's like another another layer of Anakin's mental state, I guess.
Yeah. I was surprised with how snippy he got there with her.
Yeah, I agree. It's like surprising and not surprising. That he's going to end up being a villain, so But I guess it's surprising that earlier he has been so like lovey with her, and then to do this. But I guess people are like that in real life. People like, turn quickly, or whatever.
Yeah.
So we get like a whole, like, there's kind of like I don't know if it's the second act or whatever. There's a whole section of the movie where like Obi-Wan is traveling to a planet called Utapau to confront General Grievous. And at the similar time, Yoda is traveling to the Wookiee planet of Kashyyyk to help the Wookiees. And gotta say, it's fun seeing some Wookiees. Fun to see some Wookiees in a Star Wars movie. Haven't seen them in a while.
Screen time.
Yep. Not only just Wookiees, Chewbacca is there. Chewbacca is in this movie. Yeah. Gotta love that. He doesn't really do much though. Not a whole lot of Chewbacca
I was
happening
like,
in this
I need
movie.
more of that.
Yeah,
Never got
yeah.
it.
Part of me feels like the only reason Yoda goes to the Wookiee planet is so there can be a cameo from Chewbacca, but he also doesn't do much. It's kind of like, well, why did you write that whole scene if he's not really going
Right.
to do anything? He just kind of stands behind Yoda and hangs out. So yeah, Obi-Wan is on Utapau finding General Grievous. It's this insane lightsaber fight, which like seems like Grievous should have easily beaten Obi-Wan with his 4 lightsabers, and it's like he's the swirling
Yeah.
thing that's like, how are you escaping that? That's impossible. But he does. He does. Obi-Wan also rides a giant iguana around for a while. What do you guys think of the giant iguana that Obi-Wan was riding?
Could have done without it. Wasn't my fave. Some weird noises coming from it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that until you just brought it up. That's how irrelevant to the movie it was for me.
There was so much going on in this movie, at all times.
I was
Yes.
like, there was an
Another one.
iguana?
I just can't reiterate. I'm so glad that we started with the original
With 4,
the
5,
way
6.
the release order.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still feel that way, Amber? Because you have enjoyed most of these prequels quite a bit. Do you still feel that it was wise to start with the original trilogy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because
Alright.
there's
Now I do
pieces about the prequels that just I would not have clocked whatsoever. Things wouldn't have made sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense to start with the prequels, you know?
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of like when I tell a story with like my ADHD brain that I have to tell you like 4 other side quest stories before getting back to the like it's the same thing and it just works, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something else, Alex?
Just I want to watch it all back now. Like I want to watch it again in
Yeah.
the order that we watched it, and then also in the 1, 2, 3, 4,
Chronologically.
5,
Yeah.
6.
One of
Yeah.
us.
For sure.
One of us. One of us.
We'll get there.
Awesome.
Also for the record, space iguanas are varactals.
Varactals.
Obi-Wan actually names his.
Oh.
And what is that name, Steve? Hit us with the name.
Boga.
Boga.
And I only know that because I actually read the novelization for episode 3.
Awesome. Nice. Nice.
Boga.
Boga the Veradactyl? Not pterodactyl. Veradactyl?
Varactal.
Oh, Varactyl. Okay. I already
go with
forgot
space
you said it
iguana,
2
though.
seconds ago.
Yeah. Space
Space
iguana.
iguana. Yeah. Sure. What was I just going to say about, I was thinking about as far as like watch order, and I know there are plenty of people that saw these movies first and that's why they love them so much. But to me, it would be crazy to watch these movies first and be like, oh, okay, the main character is Anakin Skywalker. He must be the hero. And then at the end, he gets burned alive and put in a weird black suit. And that's the end.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how this character ends? That's the end of this movie? What?
Yeah,
I was watching these old movies and that's
crazy.
what? That'd be crazy, right? Like if you had never seen the Vader helmet or the suit before, if you didn't know that character existed, if you knew nothing else about Star Wars, you'd be like, what is happening? Why are they putting him in this weird suit? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's just my opinion and but I did not see these movies first. So I would love to hear some from more people that did see these movies first, and if that caught them off guard at all, that the end was crazy.
I couldn't imagine going from the action and like I don't know the type of
Pace?
filming. I don't even know the word I'm thinking of. Cinematic experience, even though I didn't watch it in a movie theater. Like
Yeah, I know
from
what you
this movie to then the first movie that we watched. Like I just
New Hope,
couldn't. The jump from now to New Hope would be so foreign to me, like
Right.
from one to the other, that I feel like I would hate all of the movies after that.
Oh, no way. No, I think you would like them if you watched them. I think you'd like them more than you did the first. But I get because they look so different. And we've talked about
I
that.
think now,
Yeah.
yeah, but if we had the original, if the first
Oh, I see what you're saying.
through,
Sorry. I see what
Right.
you're saying.
it would have been like
Yes.
totally like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because
if we started with the prequels and then went
Yeah.
from this movie to New Hope, like it would feel like a completely different
right. Which is
Yeah.
movie.
kind of how we felt about the prequels, because we were used to the original trilogy and like the look and the feel and the pace of those movies. And then to jump into prequel town was like, this doesn't even really look like Star Wars. What are we talking about? You know, so it was kind of a similar
Right.
thing.
And then I was thinking to myself watching this last night, I'm like, oh, this is what I expected Star Wars to be like. Like
Oh, okay.
Okay.
this movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because like I mentioned pace a second ago. The pace of this movie specifically, I think, is like real fast. Like they're getting a lot in. Like some of the fights are overwhelmed. They're like throwing so much visual stuff at you. Like it is moving.
Mhm.
And you know, episode 4, like I don't think it's slow, but I think it takes its time. I think it kind of has to take. We talked about it has to take its time to introduce you to all this weird stuff in this like world. You know, they're just different movies that have to accomplish different things. So yeah, you're right. Like if we went from this movie to episode 4, it'd be like hitting a brick wall, I feel like, as far as like pace and expectations of how a Star Wars movie is supposed to feel. Right. Yeah.
Totally.
All right. So yeah, Obi-Wan ends up defeating General Grievous by shooting him in the heart. And you know how when you get shot in the heart, fire shoots out of your eyes and everywhere else, you know, so that happens to General Grievous, obviously.
That's never happened to you,
Standard
Mike?
reaction. No, it happens all the time. That's why it's
Oh,
relatable
okay.
when I see it happen to General Grievous. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. You get shot in the heart and
Relatable.
fire comes out of your eyes. That's
Yeah.
what happens. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yep. Where am I? I lost where I am. We already talked about Chewbacca being there for 2 seconds.
I was
But
going to say, we were on Utapau where Obi-Wan does, drop his, what has become his most iconic role or
his line.
snippet.
Yes. Yes, we do hear him say, hello there, which is what he says to R2-D2 in A New Hope. And for some reason, the fact that he said it twice is really caught on. People love saying hello there
Interesting.
as a reference to Star
I
Wars.
was
and
like,
Obi-Wan
oh,
Kenobi.
there's an iconic line. Like
It's
I was
literally
like,
that. That's it.
It's just that. Yeah.
Hello there.
Hello there. That's it. Yep. People love it. Love that he says it.
I'm gonna start saying it now. So
Yeah, do it. Please. You're a fan. You can do it.
no.
Back on Coruscant, Anakin is attending a weird floaty water space bubble opera, which is actually pretty cool. I think it looks cool. Like it looks like a cool show. Looks like a show that is otherworldly and would exist in the Star Wars world. But that's not why they're going. That's not why we're there. We're there so we can listen to Palpatine and Anakin have pretty important conversation. And it's maybe my favorite scene in the movie. Where they're talking about the differences between the Jedi and the Sith. They're arguing. Palpatine's kind of tipping his hand a little bit, saying like, well, they're pretty much the same if you think about it. And Anakin's kind of fighting back, but he's kind of admitting that he's lost faith in the Jedi. And Palpatine turns to him and says, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? And starts telling him the story about an ancient Sith Lord, or maybe not ancient, but older Sith Lord, who learned to manipulate midi-chlorians. We learned about midi-chlorians in Phantom Menace. He said, learned to manipulate midi-chlorians in a way that allowed him to create life. It could also prevent people from dying. Preventing people from dying is something that Anakin specifically swears to be able to do in Attack of the Clones after his mother dies. But says that Darth Plagueis was able to manipulate midi-chlorians to create life. Did you guys get anything out of that sentence? Did you put anything together? Well, let me ask you this.
They were testing Anakin for midi-chlorians or something in his blood.
Yes, they were.
Movie we watched.
Who's Anakin's father? Do you remember what his mom says in Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon asks her, who's the father?
He doesn't know. Like there is no father. She said,
Yep.
I forget what she said, but there was no father.
She said, there was no father. I carried him. I birthed him. I raised him. I don't know what happened. Can't explain what happened.
So was he like made? he like destined for this?
It is not specifically said in the movie. There may be some kind of supplemental material that clarifies this. Palpatine goes on to say that Darth Plagueis taught this skill to his apprentice, who then killed him in his sleep. So his apprentice is the only one that has this knowledge. And he's saying it with kind of like a sly smile on his face. The way I read this scene, and the way many people have read this scene, and again, Steve, you can look up if this is canon or not, but the way I read this scene is that Palpatine was Darth Plagueis' apprentice. And
That's
is
how
the
I read
one
it,
that
too.
learned how to manipulate midichlorians to prevent death and create life, and killed Plagueis in his sleep.
Ah,
And that Palpatine, possibly Palpatine, is the one who created Anakin Skywalker for the express
Wow.
purpose of being whatever chosen one that can be his apprentice. Steve?
so like maybe our guy didn't have a shot.
Exactly.
So
And
Steve, is that a canon thing, or is that just a fan theory?
there are two ways you can read it. That is I think that's technically a fan theory.
Okay.
In canon, it's never really been stated one way or another. There was a scene in Charles Soule's Vader comic that alludes to Palpatine being Anakin's father. In this vein, like in this discussion. In Legends, it was that Plagueis and Sidious were trying to conceive life, and the Force created Anakin to combat that.
Oh, okay. So like they didn't, but the Force did.
Yeah.
To like rise up against an approaching evil.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
It's bad
Cool.
I didn't even have to look that one up.
It's impressive, Steve. It's not bad. I love it about you. It's great. Amazing.
All the useless knowledge, Mike. All the useless knowledge.
That's right.
I love
That's
it.
right. So Anakin then asks, is it possible to learn such power? And the Chancellor turns and says, not from a Jedi. So he's really starting to turn it on for sure. Especially later in a scene shortly after in Palpatine's office. Palpatine admits to having knowledge of the dark side, which finally tips Anakin off to realize, wait, you are the Sith Lord that we've been looking for. And Palpatine's still trying to be like, no, use my power. Hey. What do you join me? And like, you want to save your wife? I know about your wife. Yeah. Trying to like start, manipulating, bring him. Obviously, clearly he's been manipulating him this entire time.
yes,
And this is
but
just
grooming
exactly
him this
exactly
entire movie.
for sure. And he just probably knows that it's time to, to turn it up or not, or give up. So Anakin, Anakin's the one Jedi that learns some alarming information and actually tells somebody else about it. He goes straight to Mace Windu and says, I'm pretty sure that Palpatine's a Sith Lord. Mace Windu just believes him, I guess. Like doesn't ask for evidence or anything. Also, if I was Anakin, I feel like I would definitely want to do some research on that prevent people from dying thing and see if that's can I talk to someone who was prevented from dying? Can I figure out if this is legit before I commit myself to the dark side? Anyway.
How though, Mike? Do you go to like Not Quite Dying Anonymous or something?
Notquitedead.com. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or you talk to Jocasta Nu in the Jedi Archives. You talk to Jocasta Nu,
who
old lady
who lost a goddamn planet.
If it's not in the archives, it doesn't exist, Steve. So Mace Windu goes with a couple other Jedi. He brings fan favorite Kit Fisto, who's like a green guy with giant bug eyes and tentacles on his head. A lot of people love him. He's in the cartoon quite a bit. He brings Kit Fisto and two other Jedi, but not Anakin. Tells Anakin to stay behind to arrest Palpatine. Palpatine attacks him with his lightsaber. We've never seen the Emperor with a lightsaber before. Kills everybody but Windu. Mace Windu is subduing Palpatine while he's using his Sith lightning, and the lightning is burning Palpatine's face. I feel like you guys probably just thought this was the greatest, most lovely thing you've ever seen in your life. Did you love the burning of Palpatine's face?
Well, I was always
horrifying.
wondering how his face got like that, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Explains it.
And I think, Amber, you said something, maybe it was a Return of the Jedi episode about the Emperor, but it's just like all that hate really like affects you. And I that's how I always kind of figured it was too. I was like, he's probably just so ancient and so full of like dark side that it's just like affected him physically.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, he just got burned with a lightsaber, but that's okay. It's still cool. I also heard a theory that it's not burning him, but it's like burning away his false face, and that's like his real face underneath. Steve, is that? Is there any
I don't
truth
know.
to that? Have you ever heard that before?
Haven't
I don't
heard
know
that
either.
one, but I could see it. Or like
okay.
he was, maybe he was like channeling the dark side so much that it to keep himself from dying that it like messed with him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Things
Yeah,
get
that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. So Anakin shows up. Palpatine's begging to be saved. Windu wants to kill him. Mace Windu gets his hand cut off. Anakin chops it off and then gets thrown out the window.
Recurring theme.
And this is it. This is when. What's that?
Hands being cut off and people falling out of large, high spaces is just a recurring theme in Star Wars.
Dismemberment is big in Star Wars, and this is the moment. This is when Anakin regrets his actions, but is kind of like just in a place where he can't fight it anymore, and he's desperate. And so, what did you guys think of this scene, but also the following scene where Anakin pledges himself to Darth Sidious? What were you guys thinking during this part? It's a pretty big
This is
moment.
when I started to like really feel for Anakin, which might be like a hot take, but it like kind of brought up the question to me of like in a situation when you're in the midst of manipulation, like I can see how it's confusing for him to really decide like what makes something good and what makes something evil, because like just the lines start slowly getting blurred for him more and more, and then like peak confusion was like this moment of the movie for me.
Yeah, sure.
And they do
Alex,
Yeah,
what do
I
you-
think it's. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh no, I was going to say they do kind of set it up, him and Windu earlier in the movie when he's the one that tells him he won't be granted the rank of master.
Right.
I don't think I ever picked up on that until I saw it this time too. I was like, oh yeah, that could also be part of the reason he's pissed at him.
Might be some underlying anger towards Mace Windu there. Yeah, sure. Alex?
Yeah, I agree, Amber. I think like even at the end, like I'm like feeling bad for him. Like I'm like, this sucks. And like Padme says there's still good in him. And then we see like at the end of the original trilogy, like there is a little bit of good in him. And like it's super sad. And like he's not like a classic villain in that like we all hate him. Like people are buying Darth Vader crap all the time. Like so he's not like it's a strange like character development, and then like it's also like it's a weird like relationship I think the viewer has like with his character as he evolves, and you feel for him. You can't like just hate him.
In a way, he's so relatable because like the whole like the Force being, light and dark kind of portrays this thought of like, oh, there's like a hard line between what makes something good, what makes something bad. Everything's very black and white, and that's kind of how we're raised as children too, where it's like, oh, you treat each other with respect, you always include everyone. It's very like these hard lines of what's good and bad, what's, black and white. So then as you start to age a little bit, those lines get blurred, and then you have to use like all of your critical thinking skills, your past experiences, like all the relationships that you have with people around you to try to figure out what that means as you grow up. And in a way, I feel like that's kind of why everyone feels like they can relate to Darth on some level, is just he's just trying to figure it out, and he hasn't had like the best foundation for it, and he's really just trying to love someone well, probably the only person he's ever loved before, and it's just so sad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
it is.
that's Anakin Skywalker in a nutshell is doing the wrong thing for the right reasons.
Yes.
That's like his whole
Sure.
character.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. A moment actually before this that really did help me lock into Anakin's arc and feel for him, because I also felt for him in that moment as well. But it really started right before, and this is something that I don't think I even remembered from this movie until I was watching it, but I did remember in past times watching it thinking like, this is stupid. Let's keep going here. There's a moment of like almost silence, and Padme is in her home or apartment or whatever, looking out the window, and Anakin is in the Jedi temple looking out the window. And it kind of shows what they're each looking at. It's this kind of like very slow and kind of like weird, like strangely quiet and slow for a movie that's moving this fast and throwing so much stuff at you. But you don't really know, Padme, is worried for Anakin. You don't really know what she's seeing. Like I see Anakin, there's a tear coming down his face. I know what he's thinking about, because should I go? Should I do this? I know if I go, he's like, that's like the moment where he's like, if I go, I know what's going to happen to me. Like if I go, then I'm choosing the dark side. I think that's the moment. And like, maybe he is seeing Padme through the Force. Maybe he's able to like see her across that distance from whatever, but you don't really know. But that moment I really locked into that moment. And then that carried through the rest of the movie with me. And that's kind of right in the middle of the movie, which I think is the turning point for me when I started like really locking into the movie more.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised? Because I was the first time I saw this movie. Were you guys surprised that he is called Darth Vader before he has the Darth Vader classic suit? I didn't think that would be possible. I thought once he's Darth Vader, he's going to be wearing the suit. Did you guys feel that at all? Yeah. Yeah. It's cool that he's just
think about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Now that you say it, I didn't really think about it, but that would make sense. Like he becomes that person when he's decked out.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's why, I mean, because in my brain, Darth Vader looks a certain way. Darth Vader doesn't just look like Anakin Skywalker with a scowl on his face. He looks
some yellowy
black
eyes.
Suit.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I mean,
yellow Sith eyes.
I almost like that. Almost makes it almost hit even more, because like you see the person turn.
Yeah.
It's not faceless mechanical Vader with the breathing. It's like there's Anakin who you've watched grow to this point and then fall hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it hits harder because he does still look like Anakin. Like it's kind of what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. It's more tragic because you see him doing these things. You see the face of the person that you've watched for 2 movies already, like decide to do horrible things, like go to the Jedi Temple with a bunch of clone troopers and murder everybody, including small children that are there. It's pretty crazy. This movie goes a lot of places, but that may be the darkest thing. Even though they don't show it, they show him like turning the lightsaber on and the kid like startling back. And that was the moment where my son was like, we can't watch this anymore. I have to turn this off. This is too scary.
Fair.
And it is scary. And it's pretty, that's like a jump in evilness, I think. It like, if you weren't sure if Anakin was going to turn back at this point, nope, he's no coming back from that, I don't think.
Nope.
Dark.
And then almost simultaneously, Palpatine calls up his clone generals to execute Order 66, which is a command that commands all clone troopers to kill their Jedi, commanding officers. And we get this tragic montage of clone troopers turning on Jedi that they've been fighting alongside, assumedly, for the last 3 years of the Clone Wars. And it's pretty tragic and sad. What'd you guys think of Order 66? Like, were you expecting something to come? Because we know in A New Hope, there's like Obi-Wan and Yoda, and that's it. We don't have anybody else.
Right.
But were you like expecting something to happen, or just like to the Jedi, or I guess I'm not sure what I'm asking, but what do you think about the Order 66 thing?
Like the montage of that, like all the different fighting scenes and the clones turning on the different Jedi, it was intense, but I liked it. Like it was powerful. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And like the Order 66, like it was just so ominous. Like something about execute Order 66 like is just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's not good. And, like,
I don't know what that is
immediately
yet,
it's
but boy.
just like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that like also goes back to my question from the last movie is was this clone army just trained basically for this as the ultimate like turning point?
Right. Great question. A question that everybody had, I think, once this movie came out. But a question that does have a definitive answer now. And I guess we've spoiled a couple things from the TV show. I could probably say this, right, Steve? We don't know if we're ever going to watch Clone Wars together. We probably won't. So
Sure.
long series. There's a story arc in a later season of the Clone Wars animated show where it is Clone Wars. You get to know a lot of clones. Like clones become characters. Like they develop individual personalities. You get to like really like some of these clones. A few of them specifically are like main characters.
Yeah.
And there is a story arc towards the end of the series where it's discovered that all clones are made with like a brain chip or like some kind of like organic technology inhibitor chip in their brain that causes them to fire and try to kill Jedi when it's activated in some way.
Okay.
And it is, without going into too much detail, it is discovered, but it is the discovery is squashed before it can be communicated to the Jedi or anybody that could do anything to stop it.
Right.
So, yeah.
The clones know it's there?
No.
No, it's not like one or two of them figure it out.
Right.
Because there's like an incident, one of them malfunctions, a clone's chip malfunctions and they start shooting at a Jedi and they're like, what is happening? Well, you need to figure this out. So they figured out from there, but then it doesn't get much farther than the person finding out. Yeah. So kind of plug. Yeah. It does kind of like, you do need some kind of explanation because otherwise you're like, they've been fighting with these guys for 3 years and just out of nowhere, like, yep, sure, I'll murder that guy that's been leading me into battle. It seems kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Intense scene.
Yeah, Clone Wars makes both of these movies so much better.
It really does. And like, I feel like, Steve, you and I are trying to watch these without thinking of the supplemental material, but this is really hard not to know, like, oh yeah, it's because of the inhibitor chip.
Well, that's like, you see Commander Cody and then you realize that all the shit about Cody is not, it's just a dude in orange Phase 1 clone trooper armor. That's
exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yep. All the characterization is gone from him. Yeah.
Right.
So towards the end of the Order 66 montage, we see Senator Bail Organa of Alderaan, who I mentioned in Attack the Clones, and I feel like you guys did not register why I was putting a point on his name at all. Probably makes a little more sense to you now. But he shows up at the Jedi Temple or somewhere and witnesses clone troopers killing a young Padawan apprentice played by George Lucas's son. And he, speeds away pretty terrified. So he's in on it. Or not in on it, but he like knows what's going on, more or less. And he starts kind of going out to find other Jedi because he's a good guy. Palpatine goes to the Senate eventually. Some of this is out of order. I was just trying to like group everything to the best way to get through it.
There's a lot
Palpatine goes back and forth, and this movie cuts back and forth to a lot of different things a lot of times. It's rare that they like stick with one thing for more than a few minutes. Palpatine goes to the Senate. He claims the Jedi have attempted to assassinate him and take over the Republic, declares the Jedi that are traitors now, they should be hunted down, announces that he's dissolving the Galactic Republic to replace it with the Galactic Empire and declaring himself the Emperor. And Padme's got a line that, I don't know, is true. Some people bump up against this line. I never really did, but she says, "This is how freedom dies," or something, with thunderous applause. Because everyone's just totally okay with him saying, "Yeah, all those Jedi that you that have been beloved and fought for us forever. Yeah, they're our enemies now. And by the way, I'm the Emperor, and I'm gonna do this job forever." And everyone's like, "Yay, great!"
Too soon, Mike.
Yeah, I know. How did you guys feel about that scene?
I liked the line from Padme. I was like, oh, this is not good. I think that was her best line in the movie.
Totally agree.
Yeah, it felt dark and scary and almost real.
Right. Yeah.
Sad.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Alex.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Because it's like, it's a pretty insane thing to be like, just okay. Like, does he give them any evidence? Like, he just basically, like, if in real life, it'd be like, say what you want about cops or whatever. But like in real life, this is like if the president just got on the news and said, "I've ordered all police officers across the country to be killed. They're the enemy of the state. And now don't worry about it, because now like the military is just going to like take over."
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like, "Yeah, great idea, president." Like that seems insane that anyone would applaud that.
Well, and not just the populace, but the entirety of the government. Him basically saying, "You know what?
Yes,
you guys don't matter anymore."
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Not even the citizens. Yeah, we don't matter. Yay. Yeah. Anakin goes back to Padme, tells her the Jedi tried to take over the Republic. She's pretty concerned. She's like, "You seem like you're, going through some stuff right now, buddy. You all right?" He swears he's okay. He says he's got to go to the Mustafar system, which is a volcano planet. He goes there and slaughters all the remaining separatist leaders, effectively putting an end to the Clone Wars. It's pretty funny. Like there's a scene on Mustafar where all the clone, like Newt Gunray and everyone, the separatist people, are talking to the hologram of Darth Sidious, and he's like, "My new apprentice will come and take care of you," and he says it like super ominous like that, and they're just like, "Oh, great, he's gonna come and take care of us. Yeah, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that." Can't wait for him to get here and take care of us.
I am in no way alarmed. Everything's
exactly.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have already determined that the Neimoidians aren't really the brightest bulbs in the galaxy.
That's very true. That is very true. So Yoda on Kashyyyk, he survives Order 66 with the help of General Tarful and Chewbacca, and he's sent back to Coruscant. I need more information. I don't know if this is out there in a comic, Steve. I need more information on Yoda's relationship with Chewbacca, because not only is it surprising that they know each other at all, because it doesn't seem like they would have known each other from what we know of Chewbacca in the original trilogy. But not only that, Yoda says, "I will miss you, my friend." He makes a point to look at Chewbacca and say how much he's going to miss him. What's going on? Are they best friends? Are they lovers? What is happening between Yoda and Chewbacca?
It's always been a weird one. And like,
it's just a weird thing for him to say to Chewbacca, I think. "I will miss you, my friend."
And like,
miss
after
you, I will.
We never, like, did Luke and Chewie have a conversation after Luke went to train with Yoda?
Yeah,
and then Luke
I know
and
that
Chewie
guy
planned, like they were together planning Han's rescue and all this stuff, and like,
right?
Did they talk at all about the small green guy they both know, or
yeah,
like what's
going
never
on? Came up in conversation.
Yeah,
like,
about this big.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think this is in my head canon. It's Yoda that recommends to Obi-Wan that he go to Mos Eisley and meet with Chewbacca and his friend Han Solo to take them to Alderaan. That's what I think, because there's like a connection there. I don't think that's established anywhere, but right? Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. So he escapes and he meets up with Senator Organa and also Obi-Wan, who has survived Order 66 because he just fell into some water and was able to swim out. They go to the Jedi Temple. They find everybody dead. They find security footage of Anakin turning to the dark side and committing the massacre. They're just basically watching like the movie that we're watching at the same time. Obi-Wan's like, hold on, Yoda, I got to watch Revenge of the Sith real quick and figure out what's going on. And Obi-Wan records a warning message. So Jedi don't return to the temple. There's like they've put out a signal saying Jedi should come back, and they reverse that. Obi-Wan records something saying, do not return to the temple. And they figure out, like, they're like, okay, well, they're heartbroken that it's Anakin. Yoda seems like he knows, he can feel that it's Anakin before Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like, I gotta figure out who it is, and Yoda's like, ugh.
I always read that as Obi-Wan just didn't want to admit that he knew.
Yeah, I can feel that too. Like, he knows, but he needs to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, for himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So they decide that, Obi-Wan's like, I can't fight Anakin. I can't. He's my brother. And Yoda's like, sorry, dude, you have to, because there's no way you can take on Palpatine. I'm the only one that could possibly stand a chance with him. And he's right. So Yoda heads over to the temple to face Palpatine. Obi-Wan goes to Padme in hopes that he can figure out where Anakin is. He tells her everything that he saw. Anakin's lost his way. He's killing children. Padme, reacts like she doesn't believe him, but she kind of knows that it sounds right, because of what we've seen her interaction with Anakin earlier on. She does admit to Obi-Wan that Anakin is the father. Something that I feel like Obi-Wan probably already knew that. But just, he guesses it. Oh, Anakin's the father, isn't he?
Yeah.
So she goes to Mustafar, brings R2 and 3PO. I don't know. I get bringing R2. I don't know why you would bring 3PO with you at all. Why bring a super anxious droid who just gets scared of everything to a volcano planet? Whatever. But he's got to be there. He's one of the gang, of course. You got to bring 3PO. What am I saying?
Maybe he's going to, I don't know, trigger something in Anakin to not go crazy.
Great point, Steve.
Anakin's creation.
Also,
Anakin built that guy.
So Padme was perfectly fine with him slaughtering all the kids at the Tusken village. Slaughtering these kids is too far. I get it now.
One round, fine.
Exactly.
2 rounds where I draw the line.
Yeah, I'll give you a pass if you only slaughter one group of children.
You didn't learn your lesson? Ugh. Gosh.
How could I not have seen this coming?
Yeah. It's like classic racism, right? Like, oh, now you're hurting the white kids? Now I'm not okay with it anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Obi-Wan stows away on her ship. So he's on his way to Mustafar as well. Yoda confronts Palpatine. They have a big fight. They're throwing Senate seats at each other. And it does not go well for Yoda. Poor little Yoda. See his just a little guy falling so far on the little Senate floor. I feel bad for him. He hits the ground real hard. I'm like, oh man, are you okay? You're an old man. And he fails and crawls away, and he's rescued by Senator Organa. Again, failed I have, or whatever. And I think that line, because he says it so quickly after being defeated, I think a lot of people probably just interpret it as being, I failed in my fight against Darth Sidious right now, but really I feel like he's saying I failed in a huge way. I did not do my job at all for protecting this galaxy or whatever. I failed as a Jedi, I think is the thing.
I didn't see.
We love accountability.
We love accountability. Finally.
Looking at the galaxy in rose-colored glasses, so I'm happy that he felt that way, to be honest.
I mean,
yes, same.
There was only 8,000 different things that could have given it away to him that maybe we need to look at something. And he blatantly ignores all of them.
Yep. He only openly admitted that the dark side was surrounding the Chancellor 10 times or whatever,
I mean, right in episode 1, him and Mace Windu. I can't tell what's going on because the dark side is getting stronger. Maybe we should look into this.
Nah, let's not. Let's wait till a couple movies from now when it's too late. So Padme arrives on Mustafar, reunites with Anakin. she tells him what Obi-Wan said. I can't believe the things that Obi-Wan told me. He gets pretty angry at her for accusing him of doing such things, even though he definitely did do those things, saying like, I'm doing it for us. And this is, I'm doing everything right. What are you talking about? And, Obi-Wan's trying to turn you against me and stuff like that. And which is a thread that they plant earlier in the movie, like we talked about.
Mhm.
And then Obi-Wan kind of reveals himself and Anakin loses it completely, starts force choking Padme until she is unconscious, which hits me. I'm just like,
That
oh,
pissed me
she's
off
the.
so bad.
Oh, really? Okay, talk about that.
Him choking her?
Yeah, it's awful.
Like, it pissed me off. I'm
my
like,
God.
you just lived this whole movie trying to prevent her from getting hurt or killed, and like, what are you doing? It's just
You're
such
gonna
an ego, like, like a fragile ego situation to be in. I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree.
You're like, let's
You're
talk
right.
about it. I'm like, wait, what?
Does
You don't
he-
feel the same?
Do we think he's got because he's got some more of that dark side and those yellow crazy eyes at this point? Like, is he he's turning kind of at this point more so? Like, would he have had this reaction like
Like
earlier?
even earlier in his
Yeah.
dark side journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like
Well,
this
no,
I
because
think jealousy makes people crazy, and
yeah,
like it
Jealousy and, like,
fuels kind of all of the darkness in
thinking
you. Like,
thinking like people are ganging up on you and like turning on
Yeah.
you is like a whole thing too.
yeah,
Yeah.
loyalty, jealousy, like it's all brings out the worst in you.
Right.
Yeah, paranoia can be a real driver in a lot of this.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was
And
shocking.
he does talk to Padme after he turns, because he goes and tells her that he's going to the Mustafar system, right? Isn't that after he turns? Because that's how she knows he's where he is.
Yeah.
And he's not ordered to go there before he pledges to Palpatine.
Mhm.
So
Right.
he does have an interaction with Padme, which does not end in him choking her. So I think you're right, Alex. I think it's like he's starting and he's just falling further and further. It's just
yeah.
it's taking over more and more of him. He's losing more of Anakin and becoming more Vader. Like
Mhm.
seems like gradually kind of happening to him and hitting him.
He's more machine than man now.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan and Anakin had this great and very intense exchange of dialogue about loyalty, and you don't see it my way, and I don't remember a lot of the only line I remember from this scene is one of my favorite line deliveries in this whole movie is when Ewan McGregor says, "I'm loyal to the Republic, and I'm to Anakin to democracy." I love the way he says democracy. It's great. And then at what point, here's my question. At what point was it obvious to you that this was going to end in a battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan, or was that a surprise to you that it came down to the two of them together?
I really didn't want to see it, but I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Me too. And I felt like it is so necessary in the storyline
Yeah.
too,
Has to
unfortunately.
be, right?
Yeah.
Has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
there's
wanted
this
him to have
giant
a little more
Go ahead.
empathy for Anakin in that though than he did, but
Well, I mean, he also just watched him force choke his wife out.
that's true.
I'm
It's
pretty
true.
sure at that
And-
point he's thinking like he's probably about as gone as it gets. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
He also stood over the bodies of dead children that Anakin killed in the
True.
Jedi Temple.
True.
Yeah.
fair.
You're right,
I'll give you that.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I do get what you mean, though. I do get what you mean.
yeah.
Like, he probably knew Anakin better than anyone. So, like,
Totally.
I just wanted him to have that, like, there's still some good in him, like, still mentality for Obi-Wan as opposed to just
Yeah.
with Padme, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was
So
that's
there's
that
this.
whole last line though, like his when he's standing over Anakin, the not the before you were my brother, you were the chosen one.
You were the chosen one.
You were
You're supposed to
bring
destroy the
balance to the
Sith.
Force, not join them. Yeah,
Yeah.
bring balance to the
Yeah. So
Force,
I mean,
not
there's
leave it in
this.
darkness. Yeah,
Yeah, well, let's get there. There's this whole giant lightsaber
yeah.
fight that goes on a long time. They're in the building.
It is a
They're
long
outside on
one.
the ledge. They're on a crazy like telephone pole thing, and that falls into the lava. And then they're trying to run up that. They're jumping around on floating. What is this planet, by the way? They're like mining lava. What do they do? What is this economy? Like, what are they using lava for? I don't understand what's going on
I'm
there
gonna look
because
that
it
one
looks
up.
like machinery and mechanics are happening. I don't know. It's just a weird situation. I'm not really sure what's going on in Mustafar.
Once a garden world nourished by the Bright Star artifact.
Oh,
Hmm.
a garden
Definitely
world.
not a garden
Interesting.
anymore. It's a volcanic hellscape.
No, not even close.
What a metaphor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, metaphor for Anakin's journey, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. If we had seen it as a garden planet, then it would work more as a metaphor. I
Yeah.
guess. All right. So anyway, we get through this big lightsaber fight, and like Steve was saying, Anakin or Obi-Wan hops off on this like kind of embankment, and he claims the high ground and says, "Don't even try it. I have the high ground." And I get this and I don't get it. It kind of bugs me a little bit because like, Anakin, why don't you just like take that little thing down like 5 more feet and then you get off all like down the embankment a little bit more? Like, why do you have to get off right there? I guess the only way I can make sense of it is that Anakin's so like arrogant and like nothing can stop me kind of energy, and like, you know, the dark side is fueling him. He's like, don't tell me I can't do that, Obi-Wan. I'm so powerful.
Right.
He says that. I'm like, you don't know how powerful I am. So
And
he
those
tries
two
to
have-
jump over Obi-Wan. Go ahead.
Those
Steve.
two have sparred for like every day for the last how many years, like trained with each
Sure.
other and all that.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I know, people that practice martial arts and that. If you're going against the people you are constantly training with, you know their tendencies, you know what they're gonna do. Like you can tell Obi-Wan's
Right.
like, I know he's gonna try and do this. Don't do it. You're not gonna win.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. But he tries to jump over Obi-Wan to cut off both of his legs and his remaining human arm, all in kind of one swift stroke. And then we get this scene kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And Obi-Wan is yelling, "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you, and you were the chosen one." I think Ewan McGregor is really good in this scene at like
Yeah.
there's like a lot of times when I think he's pulling back too much in some of these scenes and some of these movies and the prequels in general, but he's really like leaning into the emotion of it, and he's got to, right? It's like one of the biggest scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And then Anakin is yelling, "I hate you" back. He's, just kind of completely lost. And if that's not enough, he gets caught on fire and begins to burn alive from the lava river, horribly disfiguring him. Obi-Wan picks up Anakin's lightsaber, which he will someday give to Luke Skywalker in A New Hope, and leaves Anakin for dead. How did you guys feel about this? What were you, I don't know, how was your reaction to this? Pretty intense scene.
It was
sad.
heart-wrenching for me, too. And I feel like him leaving him for dead has got to have been the hardest thing ever for him to do.
Yeah, he must, like, it's like, it gotta be like he couldn't bring himself to kill him.
Yeah.
But he assumes he's gonna die, so he leaves him
Right.
there. He's like, there's no way he's gonna survive this, so I'm just gonna walk
Right.
away so I don't have to finish it
Yeah.
or whatever. But
Yeah. I hate you was like that, like was like the nail.
it's like
off him.
gut-wrenching to hear.
Like
Yeah.
it's so like it felt like so childish. Like I could
Yeah.
just see a kid screaming it at their parent, or like I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like he kind of sees him as his father, his older brother, that's still like shining through here, and like
Yep.
I feel for him.
Well, and you
Yeah.
Yeah.
turning it on with the follow up that you were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay, like they're just
Yeah.
feeding right into it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah.
I was devastated.
it's
It
so
is
sad.
it is devastating. It's devastating, yeah, for sure. Palpatine at some point feels that Vader's in trouble and goes to Mustafar to save him, which I feel like Palpatine must really believe that Anakin, in whatever state, is like valuable, because Palpatine doesn't seem like the Emperor doesn't seem like the type of person to care enough about anybody to go to a planet to save them. Like that seems like
Right.
like Anakin's got to be so like Anakin's got to be so crucial to his plan.
Yeah.
That he does that. So Obi-Wan leaves Mustafar, brings Padme and R2 and 3PO. They meet up with Senator Organa, who is also has Yoda. And they're in a very familiar looking ship with bright white hallways that maybe would be cool if there was a big action scene with stormtroopers and Republic rebels there someday, where Darth Vader walks into a thing. This is the ship from A New Hope. This is the first ship we ever see in Star Wars. The film then intercuts between Anakin being put into the Darth Vader suit and Padme giving birth to twins, Luke and Leia. It's a surprise that there's twins. They've been just saying our baby the entire movie. But like we talked about, medical droid says Obi-Wan tells Obi-Wan that Padme seems to be in perfect health, but she's lost the will to live. She tells Obi-Wan there's still good left in Anakin before she passes away, and she names her firstborn Luke and her secondborn Leia. This happens right as Vader. There's a really cool shot of, it's still gross seeing him like being worked on. He's like screaming, and his skin is terrible looking, and they're putting robot arms on him and stuff. And then the shot of the mask coming down, like his point of view, the mask coming down, and then the thing clicks on, and all of a sudden you hear the breathing. And it's like, oh, there he is.
That was
there
pretty epic.
Yeah, right? And then
I literally just got chills with you describing that, Mike.
Yeah, it's great. And then when the table like comes up, rises up into frame, and like this time when I saw that happen, like other times I've seen it, I'm just like, yeah, Darth Vader, that's what he looks like or whatever. But this time I feel like I was more connected to like Anakin's personal story this time. And when it came up and he's in the suit, I was like, oh, Anakin is gone. Now it's just Vader. Like we were just talking about, Alex, like he's slowly losing his humanity. And then, he is revealed to just be something that doesn't look human at all.
Yeah.
Something different. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I saw the symbolism. I don't know if it was the shot was intended to signify that, but it certainly did for me in that moment. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and they got James Earl Jones came back to do the voice of Darth Vader just for this one scene. Very cool. Asks where Padme is, and Palpatine tells him a lie, manipulating him still, saying that in your rage you accidentally killed her, and he flips out and yells no and crushes everything in the facility.
Mike, what he said was true from a certain point of view.
It's true.
True.
That's all. You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Steve.
If he didn't turn, I think she still might have had a will to live a little more so.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
so back on this, they're like just kind of on a random asteroid, I guess, on this ship. Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Senator Organa decide they should hide the children so the Sith can never find them. Bail Organa offers to adopt Leia and raise her on Alderaan. Obi-Wan volunteers to take Luke to his family on Tatooine and watch over him from there. So we learn, like, it's not a coincidence that Obi-Wan is on Tatooine in A New Hope. He's there specifically to watch over Luke, which I think is like that's what like starts getting me, where I'm just like, he's there to watch over him. He's not just happens to be an old hermit that lives in the desert. Like, he's there for a purpose. He's probably been checking in on the Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru like this whole time, and like he's been there waiting for the moment that Luke is ready, and that just like really hits me. Yoda also tells Obi-Wan, this kind of bugs me because it is such a giant thing that is thrown away in like a super quick conversation at the end, and they don't even really pay it off. Yoda tells Obi-Wan that his old master Qui-Gon Jinn has discovered a way to communicate from beyond the grave via the Force. And he's talking about Qui-Gon's figured out how to be a Force ghost. Like, that's why like Qui-Gon doesn't disappear when he dies in Phantom Menace, is because Jedi haven't figured that out yet. And Qui-Gon is the first Jedi to do that. Now, it would have been great if right after that we got like a cameo of Liam Neeson as a Force ghost or something to like illustrate that point.
Yeah.
And they kind of just blow right by it and they don't really touch on it, which I don't know. I get why it's important, I guess, to establish, but it seems like a real important thing to just say and then the movie's over, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I was like, am I supposed to read more into this? But I guess not.
Right. Yeah, I know. And Senator Organa then instructs Captain Antilles, a crew member, to wipe 3PO's memory. Because I don't know if you guys were clocking this, but if 3PO's memory doesn't get wiped in the end of this, it makes no sense why he doesn't just say everything he knows to Luke as soon as they meet in A New Hope. Like,
I knew another Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh, the Lars homestead? I used to work here.
Right.
I've been here before. Oh, I know you. Which also, like,
I saw
that explains
you being
3PO,
born.
but what it doesn't explain is how Uncle Owen doesn't recognize 3PO, who looks and sounds and has the exact same name as the droid that he used to work with when he was younger. Like, how does he not remember 3PO? Like, what's going on there? I don't know. That's for another time.
It's the same way
but anyway,
that Obi-Wan doesn't remember having a droid when he meets R2 again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that line bugs me too. Obi-Wan's full of lies in A New Hope, though, so you never know. But anyway, it ends with a montage of Padme's funeral on Naboo. She's wearing the little trinket that Anakin gave her in Phantom Menace. Very sad. We get Vader and Palpatine overlooking the construction of the Death Star, early construction. Looks like from out the window there. You get Yoda arriving on Dagobah into exile. We get the Organa family caring for baby Leia on Alderaan. We get to see Alderaan for the first time. Cool. And Obi-Wan handing baby Luke to his Aunt Beru on Tatooine. And then she and Uncle Owen stare out over the desert, just like Luke does in A New Hope, staring at the twin suns. And that's the end of Revenge of the Sith. How do you guys feel about how the wrap up here, this like final montage and all that kind of stuff? What do you guys think?
Thought it was satisfying for sure.
Yeah.
It had everything I needed to end the prequel.
Nice.
Yeah, the last half hour of
Satisfying?
this movie was the best for me. And it wrapped up everything.
Yeah.
Wrapped up everything I needed, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's stuff, like I just said, like plot holes and stuff that don't maybe line up, but that's kind of nitpicky and who cares, kind of, bullshit stuff that Star Wars fans like to argue about, but in general, I do think it wraps up nicely. It's very jarring, I think, when Return of the Jedi wraps up literally nicely in a way where it's like, it's a success. Everybody's happy and we did it. We won. And this wraps up in a way that's like, nobody's happy. We lost horribly and everything's terrible.
Yeah.
So,
babies.
Yeah, except there's babies, and everyone loves babies. Yep. So that's it. Revenge of the Sith, released on May 19th, 2005, made over $905 billion at the box office. Reviews were still mixed at the time, but like we talked about, it's gotten more positive reviews over the time, and many fans and critics certainly consider it the best of the trilogy. And like we said, a lot of people think it's their favorite one. I posted something on our Threads account the other day about, I'm watching Revenge of the Sith tonight. Where does it rank? And a lot of people were like, number one, yeah. Or like, top 3, top 5. Like, people really, really dig this movie. Whether I do or not, so it doesn't matter. But, any final thoughts on Revenge of the Sith?
I got 2 things. One, Alex and Amber, if you have not, well, I know you haven't, never mind. If you go on YouTube, it's on the like DVD specials and that, but if you watch the background of how they filmed that lightsaber scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin, it was all practical sets, and McGregor and Christensen were the ones doing all the stunts. Like, they did that whole thing. So yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of green. They're not actually on a volcano.
No,
it's not that practical. It's all green screen stuff. But yeah.
The lava's not real, but like they built the physical like stuff they had to run down and jump down and all that, and it was,
That's cool.
It was pretty cool to see. They shot it all like very fluid and running together.
Yeah, there's like footage of them rehearsing the fight together, which is really cool.
Yeah.
They're just using like little sticks or whatever, but they're moving real fast. It's pretty impressive, the choreography that they used. Yeah. Cool. Well, all right. We're done with Prequel Town. We've done it. That's our second trilogy completed. That's exciting. Oh my God. We're doing so good, guys.
Crazy.
We're doing so good. We're rolling.
Now what comes now?
Well, I mean, according to tradition, our next episode will be another in-person prequel trilogy wrap-up episode. You guys down for that?
Heck
We
yeah.
can schedule that?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that'll be the next thing, and I'm sure we'll continue processing Revenge of the Sith and what we thought of the prequels in general, and be kind of more of a just loose conversation about where we are in Alex and Amber's Star Wars journey. And where Steve and I are in this journey as well. We're having a good time. And yeah, that'll be our next episode. And then jumping into sequel trilogy after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Whole other thing.
Where do we go from here?
Yes, I don't even know what to expect, honestly.
I have no expectations.
Same.
I am pumped. I'm glad you have no expectations.
Oh.
I'm pumped about it. No, not for like good or bad. It's like, that's the whole point of this podcast is that you're watching these without expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's great.
Kind of like going into the first one we watched again, like no idea what to expect.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
And this is, so the sequel trilogy is set 20 years after A New Hope?
I think it's 30 years. I think it's 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's after Battle of Endor. I think it's 30 years after they take the Empire down. I'll have to look that up, but it's like, future. So, but that'll be next. Stay tuned next week for our prequel trilogy wrap-up episode. Don't forget to support us on Patreon, follow us on YouTube and all the socials and Letterboxd and all that stuff. We really appreciate all the support. I'm saying this before we've released any episode, so maybe nobody is supporting us at all, but those who are, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And that's it. So thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you next time in a galaxy far, far away.